news updates on Today Ghana News TV. We are live on the satellite via Twitch for our viewers in Eastern European countries and also on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Today Ghana News TV. We are also on anchor.fm/podcast at Today Ghana News TV. Now the headlines. Make proper check before acquiring a land. Ghana's court judgment and its security implication. We have these and other stories coming your way. My name is Edna Segbornya. In our first story, the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, has rightfully acknowledged that when the interpretation of the law is so much tilted in favor of the ruling government all the time, people will start accusing the judiciary and will not have confidence that they need. The minister was captured in a video in an address at a meeting with the judiciary in Accra to discuss the role of the judiciary as a pillar of democracy.
If the interpretation of the law is tilted so much in our favor all the time, people will start accusing the judiciary and will not have the confidence that they need.
Abusiafo mo somfo na afia ko bisa wan peme na meka sei mesimu nyimosum na montamaso na montie makopi Inner Word of God Building Construction Company so annual Inner Word of God Building Construction Company so hye yesinyame adwuma na hye na wo de akoso minua ebadan sie mudia sumuda ne yabama ede na wo pese yenyema building works Uprobi obeye carpentry amount, POP, metalworks, tiling, electricals, aluminium, fabrication, anal plumbing, bra, ni abesum we said you wisi penwo, said you wisi penny bia, ya beyama, ya titi yankofo ni wenya misrum, omunchi windio, no munya basabasanso, and now penny ama ubetumi dia siwudain, to building blocks, stones, sand, quarry dust, pavement blocks, anase wood branian somo ewo nyamesuro eni nyamesumu hye enkoma menuanom amwa amanone so betna wo maye adwuma na diskabe mane abusuafo si enye japade ma na wo beba na wanya ne se de wo sipen wo aya na eya bebre itina me se fa ho bebo eye Inner Word of God Building Construction Company so aya ti free Inner Word of God Ministry International asori a abayemre me beboa ye ne yabotne ne minua ne kire se enye na da abi ne yedinam eyi nyamisurom ene nyamisuro kwanso ene yede ba abesomwo obetume hu ye wa Accra anase asharebochi anase frɛ number we 0242 515735 0242 515735 anase 0203 755 066 0203 755 066 Freye ni yamesomo awo no kware mu medawase
Adia. And I must say, my show.
Almost $300 million.
So the show has come to stay. Mumien na yesu. Na yen chiche o man. Na wonsom oni nipa.
E daddy e Ghana bodia. Enye BP dia. Enye NGT dia. Enye obi bia dia.
President Kufano. Because what to near man and affecting all this. Full prices now what they buy.
Yeah, I just end the poker before Ghana card after Jim Dani become an answer.
Mene wo kata ya yeka. Ye no nya se ya te de e kina titi pa se kira. E titi po wo ba ko pe da ri bi. Wo ni me kai. Me na me ka dro.
Mo pese mo share so mo ko Facebook, na Instagram, na YouTube, na Twitch, and News TV. Anchor FM.
Yechia Ghana Food. My show is your show. Because a Ghana empty and a show that will be my show. That will be asking.
Sorry for that. Okay. Joining us online is a security consultant, Mr. Richard Kumado, one of Ghana's foremost security experts. Thank you for always responding to our call.
Thank you, Edna.
You're welcome.
Let's go. I'm here for you.
Okay. Since when did court judgments become a security issue or threat to the nation?
You realize that when it comes to security justice dynamics, there are three things. Yeah. It's like a triangle. You have political governance on the left-hand side. Mm-hmm. You have the justice system on the right-hand side. And the bottom of it is where you have national security. And the behavior, whether good or bad, of any of the three parties within the triangle creates problem for the state. So Kandapa was speaking to one of his colleagues when it comes to governance and when it comes to security management. And as to why he made it a public speech, I cannot understand and I cannot explain for him. But what he said perfectly is in line with when it comes to security management, or those who have studied the justice and the security dynamics and how it can affect national security and national instability. Everything he said perfectly goes down to what is happening or what has happened within the last few weeks or the last few months, for which many people are having concern. So I think he was addressing the issue and he said it rightly so.
Okay, so do you think what the minister said, he was impugning the credibility of the judiciary?
Not really. It's just a wake-up call to let them understand that whatever you throw into the public space or within the triangular space, it has security implications and it has sovereignty implications. For instance, it wasn't long ago when one of the learned lawyers in Ghana was questioning whether all the Supreme Court justices have the same mindset or they are reading from a particular script. Then it wasn't also long when somebody went to the Supreme Court to ask for what is a quorum, and you realize that the question he sent there was not what the Supreme Court justices answered. And for that matter, he's going back for a review. Then there was another typical case where it is the sole responsibility of the Electoral Commission to determine who meets the criteria to run on a particular election. So we run an election where we go to the Supreme Court for a CIA, and the CIA determines the procedures and the processes for running an election. And yet the Supreme Court decides that this person has failed and has come up with some judgment in the public space that is not ordinary word. And remember, we have coup d'etat, we have terrorism, which the National Security Minister recently threatened or warned that the cause of terrorism is closed. And when you sit in the position of the National Security Minister, where you have an overview of what could trigger an agitation or demonstrations or public upheaval, then you want to sound an alarm bell and caution one of your critical key components that, hey, let's watch what we do, because whatever we do have ramifications on national sovereignty. So that thing is not impugning any negative bias from the Supreme Court judges or any person who ran within the Supreme Court or the justice regime, but it's just sounding an alarm bell And I think people must wake up to their responsibilities.
Okay. Not long ago, former President John Mahama called for reforms in the judiciary, which was supported by Professor Drea Ajiman, a former appointee of President Akufo-Addo. Do you think the security minister is also towing the same judiciary reform line?
No, I think it's just some level of laxity or lack of prudence or any discretion on the part of some other people. You remember when the election petition went to Supreme Court and the discussion was granted and judgment was made. The Supreme Court came out publicly to say that you can criticize us, but don't insult us. And I think before you get to the Supreme Court, you have an understanding what it takes, that you are coming to this job with high levels of circumspection, prudence, and discretion, knowing that whatever you say in a form of a judgment or interpreting the law has ramifications, not just now, but in the near future. And that is why you are compared to God as a supreme being. And I think decisions coming from the Supreme Court, the justices themselves would need to look at it again. And what the minister said, that if the interpretation of the law seems to be favoring us as a political party, will not order well, and some people will be tempted to take the law into their own hands. He's saying that if many of these things that are happening in Ghana has happened in many of the countries we have seen coup d'etat, it could have created a problem for us. So let us be circumspect and let's wake up to our responsibilities. Somebody might have said that what did he see or what did he hear? He's the National Security Minister and he knows exactly what he's talking about, considering what is happening in the public space within the last few weeks.
Okay, so is the image of the judiciary sinking?
They will need to do a retrospective analysis of what they have done, and they will need to see how best they can come up with many of the duties and responsibilities assigned to them. In as much as it's an important something to hold a Supreme Court justices in high esteem, it might come with output, and performances is what should be leading us to the judgment. And they should look within themselves in line with what the minister has said and see where they have gone wrong or where they are going wrong, and let us address it. For me, I don't really care whether it's NDC or NPP, but what matters is national sovereignty and national security. And I'm happy it is the National Security Minister that is sounding the alarm bell.
Okay. So what are some of the steps that are needed to be taken to redeem the image of the judiciary here in Ghana?
It's left for them as judges, it is left for them as professionals to live to their professional oath, and partisanship should not be part of what they do. Lack of discretion should not be part of what they do. It should be more of circumspection and prudence because of the position they hold and the danger of getting the job done wrongly, or the danger of people have perception, a negative one, of course. And that is why the minister is saying that don't let all judgments favor us. Interpret the law the way it is. Other than that, the people have the right to perceive you guys as not being doing the job properly. And for me, it's not for me to say whether they are performing or not, but they should listen to what is happening and ensure that they have lived to the oath of office and let the best happen to Ghana.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome,
and thank
Edna,
you for your
as
time.
always.
That was Mr. Richard Kumado, a security analyst and intelligence consultant. Moving forward, there seems to be confusion among the opposition caucus in Parliament over the Speaker's reference of 3 MPs to the Privileges Committee for absenteeism. Minority Chief Whip Honorable Muntaka Mubarak challenged the Speaker's decision to punish the 3 NPP lawmakers in a sharp rebuttal, and the ranking member of Foreign Affairs and MP for Northern, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, said he doesn't belong to Honorable Muntaka's camp, so I support fully the decision of the Speaker.
Not be open. The Speaker should not be acting on, petitions from outsiders. I hold a different view. And remember, the Amwatin era, the Privileges Committee had said that they could grant him, leave as long as he wishes until he's done with his legal woes that he found himself in. when he's out of those shackles, then he could come back and take his seat. Professor Kweku Asare went to court, and on 11th December 2008, the Court of Appeal held that what the Privileges Committee did was wrong. You cannot keep the people of Nkranza at the time, indefinitely unrepresented, and that once you go beyond 15 days, the seat must be declared vacant. I am aligned with the Court of Appeal decision, so I'm not really in the Muntaka camp. I am saying that, look, I don't care how the Speaker... Look, the Speaker on his own, my reading of the standing orders, the Speaker on his own, even without anybody petitioning, the Speaker on his own could have asked the Privileges Committee to take up the matter and deal with absentee MPs. Look, we must build a strong institution, an institution of repute, an institution with a good image. How do we feel when we're always being bashed? That, people are not coming to Parliament, colleagues are not coming, so we form a quorum. So many meetings have to be adjourned because a quorum is not formed and all of that. And I am disappointed that even as an institution, we don't seem to have the internal mechanism to detect. If it hadn't been some of us who did the research, and it emerged that earlier the focus had been on only one person, the Honorable Ajosafu of Dom Kwabenya, and the irony is that one of the people who was hard on her, always bashing her, unleashing a lot of venom on her, he himself apparently, has questions to answer. He's been caught in the web. So I am sad that as an institution, and that's why I've been calling for parliamentary reforms, so that as an institution, once MPs cross the 15-day absentee mark, it will be detected. We can automate, we can use technology.
Okay. Advice has been given to the general public about acquiring land property. This advice was given by the Central Regional Lands Commissioner, Mr. Kofi Danso. Talking to Ofasami, he added that proper checks should be done before buying land. The seller should have land and paper documents that gives him the right to sell the lands. He also added that everyone who has not yet registered his or her land property should make it necessary to do that at the Lands Commission to avoid clash in the future.
So maybe a modi kana order is saying there nimpano okita enkata omanu two there order autumn meche deep another title say dame nimpano onibia mepocho monto eta ochina absemba ekedina kwota inya indina dubia edi dame eno nunya pa edi matche amanfu nyina brande obi watatu obebi a bombodia na bra Lands Committee na ye ready tama nenya dame tumi kata na ebia ayi awutraba order ko bank ekedi loan the bottom the damage no the another a pedestrian mobile the middle another document in a dictator or no enable to assign a movie. It is the general public there would the umbra and cano minim there and the Land Committee Woba or you and but in the on Chindam. And on to that, maybe yet to be a friend there, to be a brat, unmerited and answer. Young year and Kata, what's a fatter, young farmer.
Up next is entertainment news with Sylvia Happy Annan. Hello, Sylvia. Hello, Sylvia.
And educative politics. Today before this honor, I will perform against I shall prosper. We are anointed and appointed to walk as a winner. Whoa.
Hello, Edna.
Hello, Sylvia. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
What do you have for us for entertainment this evening?
Oh, today I have with us a writer from Ghana, and I'm going to have an exclusive interview with him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so today is the 11th of April, 2022. Welcome to Entertainment News Live on Today Ghana News TV. Today, we are having an exclusive interview with our very own writer and poet, Jacob Osai. Stay tuned and we'll be right back with some more.
And educative politics. Today before this honor, I will perform against I shall prosper. We are anointed and appointed to walk as a winner. Whoa.
Hello, Jacob.
Hello, good evening, Sylvia. How are we doing?
We are doing great by the grace of God. You are welcome to News Updates.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I look forward to this exclusive interview.
You are welcome.
Okay.
So, Mr. Osai, can you tell us more about yourself and how are you going to describe your background?
Okay, so my name is Jacob. Yes, uh, I am an author, a creative writer, poet, mostly yeah, science fiction because that's mostly what I did in school. Um, and also a sometimes a teacher in some cases, but mostly I feel I'm more of a writer because that's actually what I feel is my special place in this universe, and that's how I get to make so much impact in this world. So I'm more an author, and that's something I'm trying to build and still working on. Yeah, so that's me.
Okay, so how is poetry like in Ghana?
Okay, so it's quite interesting and it's quite amazing. As a young person growing up, I can I discovered my creative abilities. It started with poetry. I started writing poetry, so that's where it all started for me. Before it evolved into storytelling. So I know a lot of poets in Ghana. Mostly looking at the literary scene in Ghana, it's more of like unless there's a special occasion, special program, that's where you get to hear about poets, or mostly on special programs on TV, entertainment, lifestyle, like this kind of thing. That's where you get to know about poetry. But poetry is all around us. But I like to say that poetry in Ghana is great. Mostly right now, the higher form of poetry right now is called this spoken word, where people have the opportunity to recite their poetry. That's basically what's reigning in Ghana. So there's so much spoken word performances because mostly when you write your poem and you put it in a book, it will stay there. So the best way is to actually recite it and perform it. And I think he's doing great. A lot of, you have so much organizations helping promoting poetry. Alakasa, Alakasa is doing great, and they've churned out many poets all over Ghana who are doing amazing and still doing great. And I also happen to got inspired to write poetry by Alakasa. So yeah, poetry in Ghana, even though it's more like it's in a low tone, there's a lot that's going on, and yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, so what are some of the advantages and disadvantages with the field you've chosen to venture into?
Okay, so like I chose the field. I didn't I was writing as a hobby. I was not really writing because I wanted to be an author. I was actually doing it as a hobby because I had a passion for it. So mostly when I have free time, I write. Until I got in the senior high school, I got to see that there's a whole environment, community of writers who are actually doing something great with their writing. But I'll say the field I've chosen is an incredible field. It's a very powerful field. Everything about society is based on literature. Our tradition, our cultures, our way of thinking is as a result of the literature we have. And you know writers play a very important role in our nation building. The stories we tell, the things we write about, go a long way to shape the future generation. So I think it's a very potent and very impactful field. If you use it well, you can transform a generation. If not to, you can also derail a generation. So it's a very interesting and also burdensome in some way. Yeah, but it's fun anyway. I like it.
I also like that. So I understand you have physics background.
Yeah, I studied physics at the University of Ghana, Legon.
Have you imagine? Yes. Have you totally diverted from physics, or you are looking at merging the poetry and the physics?
Okay, I'm not totally diverted from physics. I'm still a science student, or I'm still a STEM enthusiast. I feel science is indispensable in our world. Everything that's around us has a connection to science. So I feel being a physics oriented person actually helped me to be more effective as a writer, because through the physics course we went through a lot of strenuous training, and I think this training actually made us more effective and proficient as a writer. And currently I'm still doing things about physics and still writing, so the physics field is not off at all. I'm still a sciencey person. With the job that I do, I'm more into physics, but I also have time to write, which I feel is my passion and my great way of contributing towards the progression of the universe. So I'm still a science person. I do a lot of science stuff, but I also find time also to write. Yeah. So I'm not diverted at all.
Okay, that's great. So how are you able to fit in your time?
Okay, that's
You
actually
just
an
demand,
interesting
yes.
question. Yeah. Um, I think I have a timetable, and I have to be disciplined and strict to follow it. So I do what I'm supposed to do when the time is up to do that particular thing. Even though sometimes there are lapses, I force myself to do it. I have I have people who are looking up to me, so I can't fail. Even though I sometimes feel like failing. Sometimes we don't sleep, we stay all night to work on stuff. So it's 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 a big responsibility, but there's a lot of a lot of satisfaction that come from achieving it. So that's what keeps us going.
Okay. So how did you first get published?
Okay, so my first publication was I think I I think I completed senior high school 2012. So I wanted to publish a collection of poetry I'd written, and I met this American organization, like a section of Amazon. They actually help people to publish on PDF, Kindle. Yeah, so I didn't know. I was just researching on Google, then I found them. So I got to publish my first collection of poetry in 2012, which is available currently on Amazon, Oaks of Definition. So and that's how I got officially published on Amazon. Then also in the university, I
Okay.
met another organization. They had made announcement that they want manuscripts, so I reached out to them, and they also got me published in 2016. And I have had two other books with them, and working on others for next year. So that's how the journey started, and so far it's been very interesting and good.
Okay. So in total, how many books do you have published?
Okay, so currently I have Oaks of Definition, I have A Walking Rainbow, I have Larabanga Short Stories from the Savannah, which is an anthology where my short story is included, and I have
Okay.
the Raven that came last 2 years. So I have four. books officially published with my name
Okay.
or in inclusion of my works. Yeah.
All right. So looking at Ghana here, what are the procedures that one has to go through to get their book published?
Yeah. So it's an interesting question. Okay. So from I had opportunity to learn from good mentors at the University of Ghana. I had Dr. Martin Blogbe, who is a physicist and also the director of one of the great literary organizations here in Ghana, Writers Project of Ghana. So it's a lot of work before you get. I don't know for them, but I kind of squeeze my way through most of those processes to get my works published. But you have to do a lot of proofreading, editing with your editor. There's like sometimes they'll cut a whole chapter out, some chapters out. You have to rewrite again, and that's the stressful part of publication. Sometimes your spirit is
Wow.
so high, your editor can get your spirit down because you have to correct a lot of errors in your work. But mostly, if you have a story ready, you send it to an editor. An editor will do the editing. After you have done the editing, you do a proofreading. After you've done the proofreading, you come back and rewrite the story, rewrite it again. You send it again for proofreading, editing, rewrite it again. You send it again at least 4 times. Yeah, and I think on the 4 times everything is great and good. Then you have the green light to publish. So that's the official, methodology that is adapted in most uh, official settings. Yeah, and it's quite interesting because at every section you grow and you become better. You grow and you become better. You grow and you become better. So even though it's tiring, not so tiring, it's a good thing for us.
Okay, Jacob, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much too for your time. I really appreciate it so much. So I guess I had some few opportunities to do some freestyle, but time will not permit us. So I appreciate
Oh,
it.
go ahead.
Yeah,
You can. You can do that.
I can do that. Okay,
Yes.
so there's a short poem titled True Colors, which
Mm,
connect to everyone. True Colors.
mm.
If you see me, you see me, a circular concave calabash. I am shiny on the outside, and since I shine, I am fine. But no one cares to see my other side, the part of me that I always hide. I try, I cry, I die. Black is not my true color. It is just the exterior of my real color. I have more treasure within me, but who dare try to see? Red, yellow, blue, green, violet, indigo are what is not seen. The true me withers under the sun after the molding of me is done. So the next time when you see me, try to read me, for I am not another circular concave calabash that's shiny on the outside. For when I try, when I cry, when I die, in me I hide my true colors. In me I hide my rainbows, true colors. Yeah. So that's it.
Wow, that's an amazing poem. So how are you able to Red Hunted? And it was written by you, and it was indeed a great poem with 9 selections of words. So how are you able to put that together?
Oh,
Hello.
like yeah. So it's actually something I've been writing poetry from
Hello.
2012.
Hmm.
So it's something I've been practicing for a long time. So it's not really so easy. It's something that comes easily with me in writing. I think that's the talent element, the wisdom with which to put a particular word in a particular way to create that particular intonation or the particular frequency that could communicate your theme of your poem. So this is basically about the inner virtues of a person. Mostly we judge people by what we see, but the truth of the matter is that there's so much in people, there's so much people can do. So we should encourage people, not encourage them or like make them feel some way. We should encourage people because there's so much people can do. Yeah.
Okay. So can you let us know who your favorite poet is? Who do you look up to?
Poetry. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so favorite poet. I don't know. Yes, so I had the opportunity to read a couple of poems in senior high school. I don't know, but I think there's um Kofi Awuno is an incredible piece of poetry. I think his poems were awesome. I think that's actually something we studied in senior high school. The guy was a master. His poetry were great. So I think that's the shade of inspiration that started with, and it continued from there. That's for an African person who can even envisage the future and write pieces about what will happen after he died or after he was dead. So Kofi Awuno was an incredible poet, and I have a lot of writers that I like, both international and local. My lecturer at the university, Dr. Martin, is an incredible writer, a scientist and a writer for that matter. One of the best I've never seen in Ghana, but he's not
Okay.
really popular. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Amazing. So, do you have any words of encouragement for your viewers, like those who are interested in getting into the field in which you are? I'm sure there's someone watching you today who'll be like, oh, one day I want to like get into the poetry field or write a book like Mr. Jacob does.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because society needs more of literature. Because if you look at the foundation for most religions are founded on text. The in Buddhist, the Islam, the Christianity, which I am, the foundation of our belief system or our faith is on a written document. So writing is very imperative because writers we inject the spirit of life into a civilization, and it's a very imperative field. And I'll encourage everybody who has a passion to go for it. But on the other side, as in because you're in an African ecosystem, it's not really something that pays so much. So if you want to go into writing, you want to do something to support your writing because it doesn't offer so much. But mostly what's keeping us still in writing is the passion and the mindset that God gave us the gift for a purpose to impact our generation, to transform our generation. And that's what's keeping us as writers. Not really because of the amount of money we'll be making. Yeah. So I will encourage all who want to go into writing to go into it for the purpose of transforming society, training people, inspiring people to be agents of change. Now bring about the change we all want to see in our society. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate
Thank you
having you
very
on
much.
this platform.
Thank you to
All
Sylvia
right.
and all your team at Today Ghana News. I really appreciate it so much. And hopefully, I'm sure we shall meet again
You're welcome.
next time. Have a
Okay. So on that note, we end today's entertainment news, and we thank you all very much for your time with us tonight. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you can follow Today Ghana News TV. Once again, my name is Sylvia. Have a good night.
That was an excellent poem by Jacob, reading some of your WhatsApp messages. No, reading some of your Facebook messages. From Patience Darko, Edna, and Sylvia, I love your teamwork. Thank you, Patience. From Kweku Adi, Edna, you are looking beautiful. Watching you live from Holland, Amsterdam. Thank you. From Enoch Mensa, good work done. Thanks for throwing light on our judiciary and security of Ghana. From Patience again, I love the news. Greetings, Edna and your team, watching from Hamburg, Germany. Thank you. From Rejoice, I am here to testify how great man called Dr. Kenneth helped. Okay, so that is it for from Enoch again, watching you from Abukobi. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to our social media platforms. That is YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Today Ghana News TV. My name is Edna Segbornya.